Om Shanti. Pita Shree, PrajaPita, Brahma Baba's Life History. Part 25, continued from Part 24. Title: The Opposition Strikes Again. In the previous episode, we learned that Om Radhe and 5 other sisters visited the courtroom. The same continues. The proceedings got underway. The lawyers acted out their parts, presenting their various motions and sundry formalities before the court, but it all seemed unreal, merely a prelude to something of real significance. The atmosphere in the court was tangible. Time became unreliable. It must have been a good deal later, but it seemed only a moment that passed when Om Radhe was called to the witness box. Then, the following dialogue took place. Judge: First, you must take the Gita in your hand and say under oath that you will tell the truth. Radhe: What is the oath and what is to be spoken? Judge: Take the Gita in your hand and say, I believe God to be omnipresent and whatever I say will be the truth. Radhe: Judge Sahib, I see that you are present, but I do not know if God is present here. I am not able to see God with these physical eyes. So, how can I take an oath that I see God in your presence? I only see you, soul, in the form of a judge. So, if you agree, I am prepared to take this oath that I see a soul in the form of you, the judge, as present, and whatever I say will be the truth. Upon hearing this strange answer, the people in the court exclaimed in surprise. Many started laughing. Some approved of Om Radhe's remarks and showed their support by clapping. Some said aloud, True, true, or she is right. The judge had never encountered such a situation before. He became a little angry and pounded his gavel. Order, order, he declared. The crowd quietened once more. The judge, looking at Radhe: I am not God, so you need not take my oath. To take this oath in the name of God is the rule of the court, and we cannot break it. Radhe, humbly and quietly: Judge Sahib, you have said to tell the truth. In truth, I do not see that God is omnipresent. In fact, I see that in everyone's mind there is anger, greed, even lust. If I am not able to see God, how can I take a false oath? Judge: This is a court, not a satsang. You need not give knowledge to me. Here, this is the rule of law, and if you break this law, you will be tried for insulting the court. Radhe fearlessly said, Just as you are not able to tolerate an insult to this court, I am not able to tolerate an insult to the Supreme Father of the world. Even in the Gita, God has said, Whenever there is the darkness of irreligion, I descend. Then, how is it possible that God could be omnipresent in this world? The Supreme One is knowledge, joy, and love personified. He is the ocean of peace and stability. In all others, there is today the domination of vices, anger, greed, lust. There are storms of passion and mental instability. There is peacelessness and ignorance. So, How can the Supreme Father be present in everyone? The judge did not know how to reply. Silence filled the courtroom. Om Radhe had spoken with such authority and such obvious love of God that no one could oppose her or even wish to. Even the anti-party representatives who were present seemed touched by her words. But the judge was bound by the law, and so he had to act accordingly. At last he said, "Judge, regardless of what you believe, the rules of the court must be obeyed. There are no exceptions." Radhe, "Judge Sahib, I will not take a false oath under any circumstances." Judge, "Still, I am going to give you time to think it over. Then I will ask you once more." Radhe, "I have already thought over it." The judge was in a quandary. He sized up the young woman before him and decided that she could be frightened into taking the oath. So little did he understand. He ordered the bailiff to place handcuffs on her. The officer approached Radhe with his handcuffs. She stood fearlessly and faced him. The people in the hall held their breath. Could such a soul really be subdued? At the last moment, the judge ordered the officer to stop. He saw the threat was of no use. The officer retreated to the back of the hall as the audience applauded. The judge gave up on the idea of taking the oath from Om Radhe. God had kept up the prestige of Draupadi in the council of the Kauravas. But now the examination began in earnest, and the judge himself led the questioning. "Judge, why did you girls leave your homes and run away to Brahma Baba?" Radhe, "Judge Sahib, have you ever read the Srimad Bhagavat scripture? When the Lord played his flute, why did the gopis run to him intoxicated? Why were not cases filed against them in court? The flute referred to in the scripture is actually the same a flute of wisdom that we are hearing through the mouth of Baba. It is the incomparable knowledge of God. Let me ask you, Judge Sahib, if a man leaves his family and takes sannyas, that is, religious vows, why is no legal case ever filed against him? In the eyes of God, men and women are equal. Now, God has put the urn of knowledge on the heads of women. So, when we mothers have the opportunity of attaining purity and wisdom, naturally we cannot refuse. Why does not everyone rejoice over such new-found purity and elevation? Why are these questions put to us? The answer is clear, Judge Sahib. Whatever difficulties have been put in our path, whatever hardships and abuses have been inflicted upon us by our own relatives and friends, all are a reaction to our purity. The judge continued to put the sharpest questions he could think of to Om Radhe, but she turned all the points back with forthright and knowledgeable replies. Judge, what kind of eye lotion does Baba apply to your eyes? Radhe, Judge Sahib, have you read the scriptures? Judge, yes, I have read some. Radhe, then you must know that Gyan, that is godly knowledge, is indeed described in just a term. There is a song which becomes Gyan Anjan Satguru Diya, Agyan Andhera Vinash, which means when the Satguru, the Supreme Soul, applied the lotion of knowledge, the ignorance and darkness of souls were destroyed. It is just that lotion of knowledge which God is now dispensing once more. Judge: how many children has Dadaji? Radhe: Judge Sahib, we do not look to Dadaji. Our revelations come from the Supreme Soul, who happens to have descended into his body. So, you tell me, how many children does God have? Can any human being count them? He is the Lord of the three worlds. All souls are his children. Not only am I, or those who attend this satsang, his children, but you, sir, are also his child. The judge wrote down all these answers to his questions. At the end, he said nothing, but simply excused the witness. But as Om Radhe returned from the stand, the gallery began to applaud her. Before leaving the courtroom, all the sisters took respectful leave of the judge, inviting him to meet Brahma Baba on some future occasion. As they exited from the hall, newspaper reporters who rushed up to ask more questions besieged them. The sisters replied to all of them with warmth and depth. Then they stepped into their waiting car, and that scene was brought to a close. Next morning, recalls Dadi Prakash Mani, we returned to Karachi. They were reported everything to Brahma Baba, but before we had even reached him, he had learned everything through the newspapers. Now he was in the silent witness state, completely free of care, and he smiled sweetly at us. That smile told us more than any words could, how we had done and how we must continue. Om Shanti.